Welcome to the Mandcave, the only podcast hosted by two best friends with nothing in common except their first names. I'm Mandy Kaplan.
And I'm Reverend Mandy Fabian. And every week we test the limits of our friendship by arguing over movies and books and all the latest trends that maybe make you divert from your path. Grab a couch. Let's get to it.
Cut this shit.
So, for those people that they're not Mandys, they don't pay the $5 a month. Spoiler
She's a
alert,
reverend, y'all.
I'm ordained, and I have a big gig coming up this week, actually.
Yeah.
And
it's official that we can't let little boys near you anymore. Oh, okay.
Wait, what?
Okay, what?
No, bring it on. Those chat rooms are popping. You don't even know. You say you're a reverend and they trust you a lot more.
Yeah, this is what I'm afraid of.
It's only 15 and up. I'm ethical. You know, and I can't get pregnant anymore.
I said little boys meaning altar boys. Like I was going for it. But you just thought
I don't
all
discriminate.
the hot, shirtless boys we've
I welcome all of the boys. Okay.
Bless
and I
your
can't
heart.
get pregnant anymore. So it's not like I'm a threat to anybody. You know what I mean?
Bless
I can't trap
your
them.
heart. Yeah.
Thank you. Woman of the world.
I actually did watch a whole series, and we haven't talked about it at all on the podcast. And I've never
find the time. This is amazing.
Anybody.
Okay.
Very fits and starts. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm like, oh, I have 10 minutes before I got to go pick up my son at school. I'll watch 10 minutes of this series,
Yep.
or laundry folding and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is called The Act. Have we talked about this with Patricia Arquette and Joey King, who, God help me, is extraordinary. And it's a true story of this mom who had Munchausen by proxy and forced her daughter to be in a wheelchair and have a feeding tube, and the daughter had nothing wrong with her.
Oh, yes. I
It's a
heard
true
about
crime.
this.
I highly recommend the series. I don't want to say too much more. It took me weeks and weeks and weeks to get through it. It's like 6 or 7 episodes. Chloe Sevigny, Juliette Lewis, Patricia Arquette, and Joey King. Oh my God, she's so amazing.
Wow. I feel like that was a while ago because I feel like wasn't Patricia Arquette nominated for that?
Yes. And it was like the first thing on Hulu that was like a series on Hulu. It was like a Hulu original. It was 2019. So yes, it's older.
Okay.
I know it's not. That's why I didn't choose it for us, because it's not topical. We got our fingers on the pulse.
So
on the gay
absolutely.
Pulse.
Yeah. But visit the Postcards from the Edge podcast if you guys don't think that. Get out there.
Waiting for Mandman or whatever we called that one.
Yeah.
Manding for Guffman. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, awesome. It sounds like I'm going to have to check that out.
I think you'll like it. And Fandy Nation, if anybody has seen it, hop on that Discord, mandcave.com/Discord.
Yeah.
And I would love to talk about it with somebody, because I don't know anybody who has seen it.
Well, I would definitely watch it because I like that creepy Munchausen thing. Like, I don't like horror, but I love anybody who's so sick that they would make somebody else feel like they're not well. Like that particular disease, I'm super fascinated by.
It's fascinating because it's such a disease. Like, this woman is so sick. So you hate her and she's a monster, but you also see what causes her sickness. It's a great performance. I'm not a Patricia Arquette fan generally.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so good. It's just so good.
That's awesome. I love
Anna
that.
Sophia Robb is in it. Like, just wonderful, wonderful actors.
Did Jeremy watch it with you, or was it a solo gig? Yeah.
No, screw that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next topic, I hate Jeremy.
Yeah, that's next week. We have that. We have it. I want to tell you what I did this week and what I started to watch. And it's
Preach,
interesting.
Rev.
It's speaking of like watching older things. This is a phenomenon that's happened many times in my house, and this is how it goes. What should we watch? Says Mandy Fabian. Patrick Fabian says, I have this great idea. There's this old movie that you never saw that I can't believe you never saw it. It's an amazing movie. And
Rosebud is a sled. Go ahead.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
So this time I have never watched Carrie. Halloween, the scary horror.
Yeah.
So I'd never watched it. So, but here's the thing. So then Patrick's like, oh my God, it's such a great film. We have to watch it. So we start to watch Carrie. And in the first, 3 to 5 minutes of Carrie, we get, high school girls are dumb and they giggle a lot. They don't know how to play volleyball and they're mean. And then we get a good, long, slow motion high school girls in a locker room, topless, running around, Sissy Spacek naked, showering herself slowly. And this is the thing. I have had Patrick say, you got to watch this movie. It's a great movie. And they all, in the first 2 to 5 minutes, have some sort of female wet t-shirt or shower scene. Or
how many Porky's movies did they make? That he's like, you've never seen Porky's 12? That's the best one.
There's like The Last Seduction. There's one with Nicole Kidman on a boat. There's all these
Dead
movies.
Calm. Oh, I love that movie though.
What, didn't she start topless on a boat or like wet t-shirt? Like,
I don't remember if she's topless, but that movie's so good.
It's hilarious because I'm sitting there watching it and he's like, oh God, okay. He goes, it's Brian De Palma. I forgot it was Brian De Palma. And I'm like, This is the thing. I was like, but what the good part is, this is furthering character and I'm learning so much about the story. We're really creating a world here because I'm watching girls slow-mo, topless, running around in a locker room, acting like high school girls surely do. And he was like, oh God, I'm mortified. So anyway, so we actually turned it off and we watched Nick Kroll's comedy special instead. And that is my recommendation for the week because it's goddamn hilarious.
I forgot about it, but yes, thank you for reminding me.
Holy shit, Nick Kroll is the other love of my life in a parallel universe. I don't even know if I would have.
And Mulaney's mine, so we could still be besties.
God, we
and
would
like
have double dates and we would have take family vacations together.
Like a Brady Bride wedding, but with them. An hello wedding.
I love that idea.
Let's make that happen.
We'd make them marry us in character. I like it.
Yeah.
But speaking of your husband, I had a dream last night that Paul Rudd was my brother. And he was saying goodbye. He had to go like work or whatever. But he was my brother.
Yeah.
And I grabbed him and I go, I just want you to know every time you go, we really miss you. I really miss you when you're gone. And he looked at me and he did that like Paul Rudd, like, duh, and shrugged. And like, obviously I'm incredibly charming. Of course you miss me when I'm gone. And that was my dream.
Well, I don't like that Paul Rudd was a bit cocky.
Of course he's cocky. He's
now
amazing.
I'm over him. I always assumed he was pure and humble.
He could be. This was just a dream, man. It was just, he's not really my brother, but there's just some DNA testing I still haven't done.
Okay.
If you're interested in that.
Am I? I think he's probably on the top of the hall pass list or whatever we call it, the freebie list for me and for Jer. And for you, apparently. I mean, he is just...
Yeah.
He's up there. Although it's not right? It's not sexual with Paul Rudd. I just, choked on my own saliva halfway through the word sexual. Because you're a reverend now, so I'm very self-conscious.
Yeah.
Cock. Okay, tits. Got
I'm about to get Mormon on this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I want to be with him forever and ever. In a romantic, intimate way.
Well, I think you want to have breakfast with him forever and ever. Like, do you really?
I don't need breakfast.
Oh,
you know that about me.
I actually didn't know that about you. What kind of monster doesn't eat breakfast?
I have 12 other meals throughout the day, but breakfast I don't eat. So that's not the plan for Paul Rudd.
I'm so shocked. I really saw you as an egg dish kind of person. I saw you as a, can we have bacon? I've had breakfast with you.
In brunch times.
Okay.
Or if we're on vacation, if we go away, I'm not going to be the spoil sport who's like, no, I don't want any breakfast. I'll throw down.
Well, and I forget, you wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So breakfast for you would be really a midnight snack for most people.
Exactly. Should we get to it?
Oh, yeah, let's get to it.
We went to the movies like real ladies of leisure. And we snuggled and shared popcorn and peanut M&Ms and root beer.
Yes, just like a real life couple.
Yes, and we watched Bros. Pete, go ahead and play the trailer for us. I think that'll help the people.
Hey guys, it's Bobby Lieber coming to you from the future home of the LGBTQ+ museum. Everyone is really excited and totally getting along.
This happens to be Bisexual Awareness Week, and no one has acknowledged it.
Lesbian History Month was in March. Nobody said a goddamn thing.
Of course, lesbians get a month and we get a week.
So what's happening? Didn't you guys have an announcement?
This is a little unexpected, but we are in a throuple situation.
You're in a throuple? Let me tell you what's progressive now. Being alone.
I love my life. I love my freedom. I love my independence.
That's kind of sad.
That I don't want to be in a throuple? I don't even want to be in a couple.
Bobby, I had sex with that 65-year-old.
Jesus, he's ripped.
I know. It's like they injected steroids into Dumbledore. Oh my God, that's Aaron. He's very hot.
Gay guys are so stupid.
I know. But we've been smart enough to brand ourselves as being smart.
It's our little secret.
You met a guy?
I don't think I'm his type. He's like gay Tom Brady.
What are you into? One of these ripped idiots with no opinions?
No, I'd like someone who's physically very frail and won't stop talking.
And I bet he's as intimidated by you as you are by him.
I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, I can do whenever and I can do whatever.
Cool. Whatever, whenever. GIF of Michael Scott dancing.
Office GIF? This person isn't gay.
I need you to be honest with me.
You like these rowy, meathead idiots. Oh, look, they're fighting. You like that? Hey. I can be tough like your boys. Oh, that's what you like, huh?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, that's cool. How about it?
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride!
Now I have to go to a Pride party and you're both too old to be in the pool. Please leave.
People are threatening to boycott the museum.
You can't say Lincoln was gay.
If we don't do this, we're letting the heterosexual terrorists win.
There are trans terrorists too. Caitlyn Jenner.
You're so different from me. You're very intense.
I like to keep things chill.
I can be chill. Just like a manly man.
Sup?
Sup? I got you.
Yeah. You gonna need some help here, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna need some help here, bro.
What is going on with you?
My whole life, I've prided myself on being self-reliant, but this guy has gone into my head.
Maybe you're both bottoms and that's the problem.
Bottom day.
Gay sex was more fun when straight people were uncomfortable with it.
Oh my God, do you guys remember straight people?
Yeah, they had a nice run.
Okay, bros. So I've been so excited to see this movie. And that trailer made me laugh out loud several times.
Yeah. Yep.
So my expectations were quite high going into this thing, you know?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
And coming off of a few weeks ago watching Fire Mand.
Yeah, we renamed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was not a fan. And that let me down.
Yeah.
This to me was so much more successful and so much better as a film, as a comedy, as a, statement or whatever. It just succeeded in so many places where Fire Mand failed for me.
That is absolutely correct. Yeah, the chemistry between the guys was so much more real. Like it was, I think in Fire Mand, there was, they were trying to build something that had all of the look and feel of a rom-com, but it wasn't quite there. But these guys, their chemistry is just really, really fun to watch. Like the way that they have, like one of the things I really love about it was that they have, they show it's very specific to gay male dating, right? It's a world that I don't know personally. I've heard, but I haven't heard even details like this. Some of the specifics of fun.
Gay male dating in New York City at this age for these types. This is not a general, like, this is how all gays do it. This is real specific.
Which that's what every successful movie needs to be. It needs to be very specific. And I think it's a danger to look at anything. Like, we had this talk about Fire Island, actually, that like not every gay man's experience is that you're going to go on a boat and dance shirtless and go to these parties and everything. But that was specific to this character, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. You mentioned chemistry between the two leads.
Yeah.
Who would not have chemistry with Luke McFarlane?
Holy shit, he is so fucking gorgeous.
He is. And he makes you lean in. Like, he gave a smaller performance. Like, he's not wacky the way everybody else in the movie is. And he's very, very grounded.
Yeah.
And very, very hot.
So hot. Yeah.
And like, I love one of his first lines is, his job is that he works out people's wills.
Yeah.
And Billy Eichner's like, is that what you always wanted to do? He's like, yeah, I grew up wanting to decide what people should do with their shit when they die, and that was paraphrased and I apologize. But he was very
funny.
Realistic and also frustrating because, one of the through lines of the movie is that both characters are anti-relationship and not comfortable letting go and falling, which bumped for me at times because I felt, particularly Billy Eichner's character, whose name escapes me. The names are, I'm terrible.
What was his name? I don't remember.
Oh, also, he was a podcaster, and the whole movie starts with podcasting, which was great, and it gave you, what a great way to get all of his opinions and history out, and then he never got behind a microphone again. And I was like,
again.
Isn't he a podcaster?
I thought about that halfway through the movie, and I thought, well, then his podcast leads him to get this job of setting up the gay and lesbian
museum.
The museum, yeah.
You would think he would do an updated, like, maybe this is good that it wasn't like most movies. Most movies during his Dark Night of the Soul would have had him at the microphone sad.
And
saying,
that's a good point.
I had love, guys, and I lost it. And, I don't know what I'm doing. But he just never went back to the microphone, which I thought was strange. But these both guys had the same issues. I questioned that. I wanted one of them to be more like a romantic falling in love and the other one being resistant rather than them both resisting.
Right. Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of hand motions.
The hand motions are really making it. I'm sorry that the Mandys can't see this because it's like she's voguing.
Rolling on the river. I'm doing a lot of stuff.
And she's doing this motion that's like washing the dishes. So just kind of imagine, guys, she's washing and drying a dish, and it's a very classic move.
I'm wax-oning, wax-offing at my own palms over and over for no reason. I can't stop. Okay.
It's interesting because when I saw the trailer, I thought that the conflict for him was going to be that he was straight or that he was bi. And
Luke McFarlane.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Like that he was, because the whole thing is like he's such a bro. He's such a like macho guy, and he's with macho guys. And his crush in high school, you find out later, is a straight dude. And so, and I have several friends who that was their issue. That like one in particular, like every crush was a straight guy. It was like he was just never interested in gay men. He was always interested in straight men who.
I wish I could say the same.
I know, right? Oh God, Luke McFarlane, give me a second glance. Our husbands are plenty gay. I think there's just no issue with that. But yeah, it was kind of, I kind of thought maybe that was going to be a twist, but it wasn't. It was just this kind of, and it was a very gentle thing where it really felt like they both were they had not found their match, and they sort of assigned it to, in the same way that women do, all straight men don't want to be in a relationship. They're all non-committal, blah, blah, blah. And when they were sort of like, gay men are so shallow and superficial and nobody really wants a relationship. And like, they do this fun thing where every new sexual kind of interested encounter starts with, what's up? What's up?
Yeah.
And they have these
I found that very realistic and very funny. Everything is just, hey, what's up? Hey, what's up?
Now, that's interesting. Do you find that realistic because you've heard actual stories like that from friends?
I just think I don't know about from friends, but I do think it's the easiest way. You see somebody online that looks cute and it's non-committal to say, hey, what's up?
What's up?
Rather than, I loved your picture and you look adorable and where was that taken? Right? You don't want to seem anything. You just want to start, hey, what's up? Which in this movie leads to, one night stands, lickety splits.
Yeah. Hey.
It also leads to
lickety splits. That's a lot like the what was the sexual position that I don't remember now. The screw-unicorn. Yeah.
Oh, you came up with or you found that.
Yeah.
But Yeah, lickety splits does sound like a position in the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
But it also leads to, I thought this was so funny, like send a dick pic. No. He's like, I won't. And he's like, then at least send an ass pic. I won't talk unless you send an ass pic. I won't engage with you. Ass pic, ass pic, ass pic. Leading Billy Eichner to spend more time in the mirror. He spends a lot of time in the mirror in this movie.
Sure.
Trying to capture a good ass pic. Something that we did in 30 Nights. So I wonder.
Yeah. So it's a nod to your movie.
Stuff.
This whole thing was a nod to your movie. It was basically the gay version of 30 Nights.
I think so.
Yeah, I really like the way that they did the texting back and forth because it was a commentary on, they were able to really make fun of the sort of funny way, just the way that they would, the dumb things they would say to get to a hookup, right?
Right.
But they had the characters do it in voiceover and just show them typing, but you don't have to see the words. You just hear it in voiceover, which from now on, forever and ever, I'm going to have that in all of my movies because it's infinitely better and it's funnier. That way people could deliver the jokes. So I thought that was a great, great creative decision that they made.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is also yet another movie that makes me miss New York, but that's just an aside. It shot New York beautifully in Central Park and it was sun dappled and that's my favorite kind of dappled. But so one of the major plot points of the film is that he works at the first LGBTQ museum.
Yeah.
And the mission of the museum is to shine a light on untold, buried histories of the LGBTQ movement or activists or people who just happen to be LGBTQ. And the reason I'm not including I, A, and every letter after that is that they don't in the movie. I just want to make that clear. I'm not eliminating letters. That's how they referred to it in the movie.
Yeah.
Now, this is a great idea for a museum. Every city should have one.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of how much time we spent in the museum and in the boardroom with the people running the museum deciding what to do? Because that's where I got a little taken out.
Yeah. I mean, there were a lot of really funny jokes and I'm with you. I really liked the idea of the museum as a real thing. And I was like, oh, and it was fun even throughout the movie. They sprinkled all these banners of like this museum coming and it gave him a reason to go and have to raise money. And I thought that whole scene of them going to Provincetown was really great, an opportunity for them to fall in love and how, the character, I can't remember his name, but the guy that Luke McFarlane plays ends up.
Okay. And
he's
fun
so good
cameos in Provincetown. Fun cameos throughout the movie. But
yeah. That was actually really, really beautiful. And I really bought it. It was like, to me, that was the best of a, what do you call it? What's the woman that does all the something's gotta give? And Nancy Meyers. It was like, it went full Nancy Meyers with like the great beachy setting and the sunsets and like drinking a cold beer and like toes
He
in
was
the
wearing a
sands.
turtleneck too at one point. I wonder if there was intentional Nancy Meyers nods in here.
There had to be. I feel like there were nods to all of the rom-coms. The strolling, the way that they bought a Christmas tree and then Luke McFarlane carries it by himself and then they carry a giant menorah down the street. That's such a When Harry Met Sally make fun of that. Like they really make fun of rom-coms a lot in this movie. Like the very end of their first date where they're going to go off separately. And then one of them goes, turns and goes, wait. And you think they're going to go and spend the night together. And then you think they are spending the night together.
Yeah. I don't know how many spoilers I want to give because there are some fun surprises.
Yeah.
Like the cameos. I don't even want to spoil them.
No.
And that moment, I was rolling my eyes because it's, so out of a rom-com. Wait. Right. And then they cut to them kissing. And I was like, oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
And then it turned turned it on its ear and saved it and made it funny. So kudos to
very funny.
Yeah. But I wish they wouldn't have out loud referenced a lot of rom-coms, which they did. They talked about Harry and Sally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
well, they
that's
literally
just
have the guy running on the street at the end where you're like, okay,
Right.
is there when Harry met Sally shot?
Right. And I think people feel like a freedom maybe, well, we've referenced it, so now we can do it.
Right.
But if they didn't reference it, maybe people would accuse them of like, hey, you ripped off When Harry Met Sally. But
yeah,
all romantic comedies are ripping off When Harry Met Sally.
1,000. I completely ripped off When Harry Met Sally a couple of times in my movie.
For me, it's Schindler's List. 30 Nights is just a direct ripoff. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Oh, so to answer your question about the museum, the one thing I would say is like, I really liked it as an idea and I thought the characters were all really fun that we met, but it was as a source of conflict. I don't know. I wasn't quite as into that story as I was the love story. And I also like the self-referential. I kind of just liked seeing these guys dating and having a romance, right? Like that was enough story for me. So I didn't necessarily need the additional, I didn't need the additional stuff, but I found it interesting.
Side note, research came back with Billy Eichner plays Bobby and Luke McFarlane is Aaron.
Thank you, God.
Aaron. Yeah.
Of course, so, Bobby.
The final scene at the museum is very reminiscent of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is a guilty pleasure for me. I know it's not one of the best, but I love it.
It's great.
And one of them is up on a stage and having to proclaim feelings in front of a room full of well-dressed, people at a fundraiser.
This is very common.
Yes. And I appreciate that they didn't try to redo the tropes. Like they just followed the rules of romantic comedies.
Yes.
And that is fine by me.
Me too.
So we knew they would end up together. That's not a spoiler. They really followed all the rules. I'm so glad a gay movie, romantic comedy, followed all the rules and gave us a story we cared about with characters we cared about.
Yeah.
But because of the museum, there was a lot of lecturing about, people ignoring gay stories. Yeah. And that I got self-conscious because I'm like, well, I'm not ignoring gay stories. I'm sitting in the movie theater watching your movie.
Right.
So I wish that those points that they were making could somehow reach the people who need to hear them.
Right.
Because those of us who go to see Bros are supportive of gay stories.
Yeah. Well, one thing I really liked was when he's talking to the mom at the dinner and
Amanda
she's like,
Bierce.
Oh, is that her name?
Yeah.
I don't remember. That's funny. I don't know her name. What was she in? Was she in something else that you know her name?
She was the neighbor on Married with Children for years and years. And then she's a huge television director.
Oh,
huge.
Whoa. I didn't know that. Good for her. Oh, cool.
And she is one of the first women to come out in Hollywood and live an out gay life.
Oh, wow.
But she's playing a conservative straight lady.
She
is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I really liked her. I liked the conversation that they had over dinner. Mm-hmm. This was the most provocative of all of that. It was the most interesting question to me was they were having the question. She's a second grade teacher and he wanted her to bring her kids to the museum. And she was like, I love the idea of a gay history museum, but not for second grade. Mm-hmm. It's too young. And he's like, I don't think it is. And then so it's a really, I actually loved that scene and I love that story because it's my same argument about female sexuality. Mm-hmm. And when are you supposed to talk about that? And like, why would there be parameters on discussing that kind of thing? I thought that was a really interesting thing. And I was totally on his side. Like, yeah, you should bring those second graders.
Oh, absolutely. I think it was uncomfortable because he was trying to impress the parents of his boyfriend and he was failing at that. So that's why it was uncomfortable, not because of the subject matter, but because his personality couldn't, he was making a good point, right? His boyfriend at the time was saying, hey, don't stop pushing it with my parents. And he's like, I can't not push it with your parents because your mom's wrong on this. And I thought that was I actually thought that was a great conversation. But he also knew he was self-sabotaging. And what Aaron says to him is, be less you. with my parents. And that is the most insulting,
yeah.
So they both are self-sabotaging. They both,
yeah,
they're both messy.
Yeah. But they both also address their own kind of, which I think is really interesting, their own homophobia of their own internalized being told, pipe down, don't be so this or that, don't, that because they're gay men of a certain age. And I've heard this talked about so much. I think it's a really interesting conversation. I heard, you ready? On Glennon Doyle's podcast, she had Emily and Amy of the Indigo Girls on. So it's
never
Glennon
heard of them.
And her wife, Abby, and then Amy and Emily. So right, I could just die. It was the best hour of my life listening to the four of them talk. But it was very interesting because what they were talking about was how they had to fight that so much because when they were growing up, being a lesbian was just not okay. Ever. And so they actually internalized that, and they still are struggling with their identity, and they are, they're the ultimate lesbians. They're the queen. You could formalize it and make them lesbian royalty, but they're not totally accepting. And they were talking about how interesting it is watching younger lesbians have none of that and how jealous they are. That because they've grown up in a very accepting world, that they have never had to overcome those obstacles.
Right.
So I thought it was really interesting that they address that. They're men in their 40s and,
Well, I hadn't thought of their age as being a factor, but you're right. It would be interesting if it was a romantic comedy about two guys in college. Yeah. These obstacles wouldn't have been there for them. Everyone around them would have been accepting and, oh, you're out. I have a million out friends. But they did grow up in a different time. I hadn't thought of that.
Well, it's a really interesting thing, too, because we're changing as a country, right? So in New York and LA, right. Abby doesn't even know about homophobia.
Right.
I mean, she's completely who she is. Doesn't get it if there's ever a joke about a homophobic joke. She's like, I don't get it. I'm like, of course you don't, sweetheart, because you shouldn't. It's nonsense.
Right.
But if she goes to Texas or, the middle of the country, there are Florida has their whole we're not going to say the word gay, also nonsense. But so you go, it's interesting. There are places where unfortunately kids are still going to deal with that. But the hope would be that we're getting there. We've made a lot of progress.
Tons of progress. Years and years ago, I think Biden referred to it as the after Will and Grace era. That, and I mean, for what it's worth, 20 years ago when Will and Grace premiered, they were so smart because they gave us something so familiar. Oh, a sitcom. Oh, they're roommates. Oh, they have dating troubles. Got it.
Yeah.
And then they happen to be a half gay. Their characters are half gay and their actor was, Sean Hayes is gay. And I thought that was such a gentle, sneaky way to reach more people.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say, Will and Grace was how I first saw gay people on TV or in life. And that's wonderful. So,
well,
we are past that, but.
Well, Liz Cheney didn't not get elected because she's a lesbian.
Right.
I mean, so it's it's interesting. It's kind of I don't know that
I don't know that you're supposed to out Liz Cheney on our show, but okay.
Liz Cheney for president. I wonder if she's seen the movie. Well, we'll have to send her a link.
There's a lot of back and forth about this movie. It's really, people are debating and discussing, but overall, we laughed, we were moved.
Yeah.
It's progress. It's exciting.
Yes, totally.
The studio put a lot of money behind it. They marketed it the same way they would have if it were J-Lo and Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
It's just mainstream and it's thrilling.
Well, and I'm a big Billy Eichner fan. I mean, I don't watch reality anything, but those Billy on the Streets, holy shit. I would watch all of them and then I would send them to my friends and be like, he makes me laugh so hard.
You sent them to your friends. I've never received a Billy on the Street from you.
No, my real friends. Not
your podcast friends.
The ones who,
those were always dependent on who he was with.
Mm-hmm.
you know, I remember vividly and fondly the ones where I loved the person he was running around with. And then if it was somebody I wasn't crazy about, I was like, oh, it's just loud. But when it was Will Ferrell, I was totally on board.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, like any improv thing, some of them are not going to be as funny as others. But
yeah,
I liked him on Friends from College, too. I really loved that show.
I didn't care for that show as much, but I thought he was great on it.
Yeah.
And you didn't know he was a singer, but
I had no idea.
He and Seth Rogen are the two Timon and Pumbaa in the live action Lion King. And Seth Rogen is admittedly not a singer. He did his best. He hit the notes. But you're like, who's this other voice? He's actually a really great singer. And it's Billy Eichner, and he is a singer, and he sings in this movie.
My God. I had no... he sings in the shower in this one scene. And I was like, what the holy voice of an angel?
I think he's also sung like in Broadway, not on Broadway in a show, but in fundraisers and stuff like that. I think he is a singer.
One of the things the reason I also loved him on that show. Oh, hell. Now I don't remember. I would have to look it up. It was with that female comedian.
Normal people. No. Annoying people.
Something like that.
Getting
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Are you on it? Okay. Because
difficult people.
Yes. That was a surprisingly good show. And I only say surprisingly because I know. Oh, I loved it. Andrea Martin played the mom of the female comedian. There are these two characters. They're really specific. So it's a little bit like Broad City in that if you don't love those characters and want to hang out with them, there's nothing else in the show for you, you know, and they're very specific. But I loved that show and I loved him on it. So he really has always been a win for me. And I think he's so smart. Like Billy Eichner feels like the kind of guy to me that I want to hang out with because even though you can tell he gets in his own way because he's so smart and constantly, you know, judging things and assessing things, and he overthinks everything, but he's just so funny. And I think it's really intelligent humor. He's very insightful, like that observationally comic way. Did he write? He wrote this movie, didn't he?
Co-wrote it with Nick Stoller. But he's honest about who he is. He's got this brand, and you either love it or you hate it, or you're in between. And you know, but I admire that. This is it. This is who I am. I have these opinions.
Yes.
I am smart. I am New York and brash. And, you know, I'm not going to change who I am to fit a mold. I'm just going to be me.
Yeah.
And
that's the whole message of the movie.
Anyone who could do that, Amy Schumer does it.
Yeah.
Tig Notaro does it. There are these people who are like, yes, this is just who I am.
Yeah.
And I admire it because I am a whore. And if someone says, hey, you might be right for something, I'm like, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Do you want me to get a face transplant? Like, whatever you want. I don't have to be who I am. I can chuck who I am. So it's really, I admire those who are like, nope, this is who I am. Always true to myself.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How many man jobs?
I'd give it like 4.
Well, you said 4, so I should say -12, right? Just so we have
just so we're on brand
to hang our hat on.
For sure.
No, but I think I would go around the same.
Yeah. I mean, it is filled with laughs. It delivers the promise of a romance. And it's also like, it's introduced me to a world that I didn't know of. Like, I mean, I have friends who've told me about their dating lives, but to see it acted out and to watch the specifics of how these guys, you know, talk to each other and what they're interested, like the way that they date is really, really fun.
We are not mentioning because it is the best scene in the movie, hands down. I knew you agree because we were laughing so hard at Steve. And I don't want to say any more. I want anyone listening to reach out once you've seen the movie and let's talk about Steve.
Let's talk about Steve, guys. Let's talk about Steve.
Let's get Steve a spinoff. His own spinoff.
It's his own thing. Holy God, that really was so funny. I was holding my sides laughing. Yeah.
Yes. So, but we're not going to, no spoilers because it's out in the theaters and I want people to have time to go see it.
Yes.
I'm very excited for our game.
You didn't give it man jobs, did you?
4. I said 4.
Oh, you said 4.
No, I said -12 and then I said 4.
Okay, great. Okay, well, yay.
4 man jobs. So 8 total. And if you average that out, it's 4. Great.
Yeah.
So,
good math.
And not Mandjobs, but Mandcave is a production of True Story FM, engineering by Pete Wright, music by Ian Post. Here's an aside. Love Pete. If you listen to the last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Not Mandy.
Yep.
He did some magical engineering and I like when Pete chimes in. So Pete.
Yeah.
Insert yourself into our cave.
Gay rom-com stories. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. When they beg for it, it's just not the same.
Please insert yourself into our cave. Wow, that went a different direction, but okay.
Sorry, Rev.
And I'm glad he agreed with me on the come at me comment as well from last week. So,
debatable.
Also, if you would like to agree with me that she says come at me, not come in me, from not okay, then please do join us on Discord. You can go to mancave.com/Discord. We already talked about that. And you can also become a Fandy. That's how you best can support the show. If you like us, if you love us, pay $5 a month to get a little closer. You know what I mean? Mancave.com/Fandy. You could be a member. You get birthday videos that are so much fun, and you can join us in our private channel and talk to us. And it's really a good time.
Yes. And as if you haven't done enough for us, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please, please. We need it to help us grow. So just 5 stars and a rave, and we will give you a shout out. And wear your merch loud and proud. I need a new phone case because mine is all chipped. So I'm thinking I might do a Daisy Flowers and the leopard blue jeans phone case. I don't know. I haven't decided which one yet, but I'm getting a new phone case and we're gearing up for winter. So I need some more sweatshirts.
Yeah.
I'm very
what would
excited.
Mandy do? Yeah. Yeah.
Go to mancave.com/merch
Get
and
in
get
there.
yours. Okay.
Okay.
Romantic comedies. That's what we watched.
Sure.
You would agree. And I said this one didn't reinvent the romantic comedy. And no one really has in a long time.
Okay.
Romantic comedies follow a formula and they all boil down to what used to be a boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl. Now we can't say that anymore. Thank God, bros. Okay.
Palm Springs actually reinvented the romantic comedy. But, it's cool. Yeah.
Couldn't sit through it.
What?
Adam Sandberg? Couldn't sit through it.
Shut up. You didn't like Palm Springs?
Couldn't sit through it.
Do not listen to her, Fandies. It's a wonderful movie. It's a wonderful movie.
All right. So what I have here are log lines of romantic comedies.
Okay.
Some of them are real.
Uh-huh.
Some of them I have made up.
Okay.
You are going to tell me which is which.
The real rom-com and the fake rom-com.
Yes.
Got it.
And I think a bonus point for both of us, because I haven't done this, is to give them a title. Once you hear the log line, we can each come up with a title.
Oh, okay, great.
And I'll keep a very, very detailed list of all the points.
Great.
No, I won't.
The boner points. Okay, yeah, got it.
Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
When an Icelandic man boy is selected as the first redhead going to the moon, he faces his fear of dying before doing anything important, all while being persecuted by another ginger astronaut, an egomaniac TikTok star.
What? Okay. I'm sorry. That's so convoluted that I would say it's real.
It is real.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go. I'm going to say, since they're both gingers, I'm going to say Red Rockets.
Not bad, Fabian.
Yeah?
I'm going to say Moon Ginger.
Yeah.
But you must say it as Moon Ginger.
Yeah. Also, since it's a rom-com, it could be like To the Moon and Back. It's cute, right? Yeah.
Yes.
A little more predictable, but.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for another one?
What was the actual title? Do I get to know the actual title?
I didn't put actual titles in here, so no. And I'm never going to that website again.
Okay. Wow.
A cheating husband, unable to escape his mistress's handcuffs, has the tables turned on him when his wife demands an open marriage.
Oh.
But when they both show up at the same restaurant with their dates, they realize they still love and need only each other.
Oh, okay. Well, this sounds like you wrote it. That's what I think. And it sounds like I would title it something like, what's that song? If you like pina coladas. Yeah.
The pina colada song.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say it's the pina colada switch is what I would call this movie.
Oh, okay. It is real. I did not make this up.
Okay.
And I would call it Check, Please.
Yeah. Or open season or open seating.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
All valid.
Yeah.
17-year-old mermaid Bailey Waters just wants a normal teenage experience when she transfers to a new high school. Can she keep her fishy secret under wraps when her new boyfriend Jace sees her swimming in the ocean and asks her to join the swim team?
Does was it David Attenborough? Does he narrate this movie? I would, let's see, Fishy Feelings and or Other Fish in the Sea could be pretty good.
Nice.
And is
You're
it
good
real?
At the titles.
Is
that real?
Know. That's a tough one. I'm going to say you made it up.
I did make it up.
Yeah. But it was very good. It was confusing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just as confusing as the real one.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't know. It could be.
Right.
Nice.
I would call it Bailey Waters just because I liked that name for a mermaid.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay, here we go. Five lifelong friends decide to kidnap their book club's favorite romance novelist and force him to fix their love lives. Only one problem. His life is a bigger mess than all of theirs combined.
Oh my God. Well, I love this movie idea. I think it's yours. And I would say, let's see, what would be a good, let's see, cliffhangers. Oh,
nice.
Maybe, right?
Well, if they're all smoking pot, we'll call it spliffhangers.
There you go. Or like, write me something. Anyway, righting the wrongs, something. Well, yeah.
I liked cliffhangers.
Okay.
Yeah. That is a Mandy Kaplan original.
It's a brilliant idea. I think you should write it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I might. Some of these are going to live on.
The mermaid
in
thing
other
is
ways.
too controversial, but that one I want a first draft by next week.
The mermaid thing was...
Yeah. Mermaid's not a good, that's too edgy.
Yep. Are you ready for another one?
Sure.
And how are you doing at home, Mandys? Are you scoring well? And what are your titles?
Yeah.
Join us on Discord and let us know your titles for these things.
Please do. What did you name the sticky fish drama?
Bailey Waters. Oh no, you're saying to the other people. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get confused when you're looking at me but talking to the world. I find that very confusing. I did that last week too. When a UFO lands in her backyard, Lila Forster develops strong feelings for the alien invader, who is an identical double for her husband.
Oh.
Now she must decide whether she wants to work out her marital troubles or make the swap for good.
Oh. Well, I like that. That sounds like it could be real. It sounds like it could be real. And I'm going to say, how about otherworldly?
Nice. I might say, My Alien Love.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And this is totally my creation.
Well, it's wonderful.
I really have a
stallion.
I have a bod for business and a mind for brains.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah, that means nothing. All right. One more, two more. Here we go.
I'm still trying to think of titles. Like, which one's Ed? I don't know. Anyway.
An aging, washed-up actress is fitted with an odd device that makes her appear younger, revamps her career, and piques the interest of a clout-seeking ex-husband.
Mm-hmm. Oh. I feel like I saw a trailer for this. No, I do. I feel like there was because I remember feeling like, oh, bummer, because I've always wanted to do a movie with the age swap thing.
Oh.
Yeah, but maybe not. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if it's real or you, because you're right. You write really great things. So if it's too good, maybe it is you. Maybe it is you. But either way, I'd be interested in that. And then I would say Wrinkle in Time is a great title. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes.
Or
I would call
Aging Up.
it Revamp.
Oh, Revamp is good. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is real.
Okay.
That one's real.
Is it coming out? Because I do feel like I saw a trailer for it.
I don't know.
You don't remember? Okay, got it.
No.
What were you doing? Like, were you like in your sleep
I looked up like romantic comedy log lines,
2 martinis
and I just I cut and pasted these from a site of romantic comedy log lines, but I didn't do the titles because I wanted us to give them titles.
I gotcha. I'm imagining you in like blindfolded with mittens going like this, and then coming up with
something similar. I can look up my history and see.
Oh no! I don't care. It's all good. I think it's funny. It's good. This is much better.
Okay, but last one.
Yep.
And then I will be able to tell you some of these titles. On their 7-year anniversary, husbands Kurt and Jones decide to take one night off from monogamy. Jones is shocked and awed when he finds out Kurt spent the night with a woman. Not just any woman, his best friend Julie.
Oh, God. I hope that's real. That's a great premise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And obviously it's called Banging Julie. It's the best title of a movie ever.
Weirdly, it's called Schindler's List, and I made it up.
Julie's Fist.
7-year bitch is what I would call it.
Oh, nice.
Right? 7-year itch.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so Icelandic man boy, that was called Space Gingers.
Okay, so we were close. Space Gingers. Somebody really did that. Okay.
Juvenescence is the aging washed up actress.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how many of these I can find because I skipped a bunch.
Well, that's all right. That's okay. Those 2 are good. Didn't you make up the rest of them? You made up a lot of them.
Well, because I'm that's what I do. That's what I like to do.
Yeah, I love it.
Juvenescence. There it is. Okay, so you did very well. You scored
pretty
4.
good. Great.
Yeah, no scoring.
Oh, so it's my turn. Now I'm going to tell you what we're going to watch next week.
The movie one was the restaurant one was called Table for Two with a question mark.
That's pretty good.
Sorry to interrupt. Yes, go.
Table for Too Many, TOO. I could do this all day. All right. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
I've been having you watch all of these kind of like, smaller indie things. And while I love it, I am going to assign you something you're going to frickin' love. But I'm a minister this week. I'm performing a wedding. So I guess I'm in the mood to make people happy. You are going to listen to a podcast, a true crime solving podcast.
Thank God.
Oh my God. You're so happy already. It's like, I don't even have to, I'm so excited. There will be 2 episodes. Right now there's 1 episode. And the first, so anyway, it's called Rabia and Ellen Solve the Case. And it's Rabia Chaudhry.
Yes.
And Ellen, I forget what her last name is, but they, I forget her last name. It doesn't matter. They are going back over cases that they feel are wrongful convictions and telling you basically why it was poor police work. And their very first case is Lacey and Scott Peterson. And I'd be curious to know, did you think that Scott Peterson was guilty?
Yes!
So did I. So wait until you hear the first episode of Rabia and Ellen Solve the Case. And so I think you can get through 2. They're an hour. I think there's going to be 2 by the time. So
no worries.
Take a listen and we will discuss Rabia and Ellen Solve the Case next week. You're welcome.
I'm already fired up. All right.
I knew it. All right. Well,
love ya.
I love you too. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, and Mand, bless you.
Thank you, Rev.
You're welcome.